My father called me last year. He'd been to the pharmacy, bought 3 new supplements off the shelf, and he was proud of it. He said, "Kayla, I'm taking care of myself." And when he read me what he'd bought, I had to stop him, because 2 of them, together, were actively dangerous for a man his age. Here's the thing. My dad is smart. He reads labels. He exercises. He's 63 years old and he takes his health seriously. And he still almost made a mistake that could have cost him a hospitalization, because the supplement industry has almost no obligation to warn you about what changes after 60. I'm Dr. Kayla. I've been practicing medicine for 14 years, and what I'm about to share with you is not something I read in a magazine. It's what I tell my own family. Today, I'm covering 5 supplements that are widely sold, widely trusted, and widely misunderstood, and why after 60, the math on all 5 changes completely. Before we get into the list, I need you to understand something, because it changes how you'll hear everything else. Your body at 60 is not a slower version of your body at 40. It is a fundamentally different operating system. Your kidneys, the organs responsible for filtering almost everything you put in your body, they've lost roughly 30 to 40% of their filtering capacity compared to when you were younger. That's not a disease, that's normal aging. But it means that compounds your body used to clear out in a few hours now linger for half a day, sometimes longer. Your liver, which metabolizes supplements and medications, works at a fraction of the speed it managed 2 decades ago. And your cardiovascular system, your heart, your arteries, has become far more sensitive to sudden changes in mineral balance, blood thickness, and blood pressure. This is why a supplement that helped you at 45 can genuinely harm you at 65. Not because the supplement changed, because you did. The 5 I'm covering today all appear on clinical watch lists for older adults. Some are in the American Geriatrics Society guidance. Others have been flagged by the FDA. And one of them is sitting in the medicine cabinets of millions of people right now, being taken every single night with no idea of the risk. Let's get into it. I want to start with vitamin E because this one surprises people the most. Vitamin E has an incredible reputation. Antioxidant, heart-healthy, anti-aging. It's been marketed as one of the great protective supplements for decades. And at low doses from food sources, leafy greens, nuts, seeds, it absolutely has benefits. The problem is the dose. Walk into any pharmacy and the standard vitamin E supplement is 400 IU. Some bottles go up to 1,000. What most people don't know is that the safe upper limit established by the National Institutes of Health for adults is 1,500 IU. But the research on older adults tells a very different story at doses above 400. Here's the mechanism, and I want you to follow this carefully. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin. Unlike vitamin C, which your body flushes out in urine, vitamin E accumulates in fat tissue. It builds up over time. And at high cumulative doses in people over 60, particularly those who are also taking a daily aspirin, a blood thinner, or even a standard fish oil supplement, vitamin E becomes a significant blood thinning agent. Think of it this way. Your blood's ability to clot is like a dimmer switch, not an on-off button. Every compound that thins the blood turns that switch slightly toward the off position. One agent alone, manageable. 2 or 3 stacked on top of each other in a body that's already processing them more slowly, that switch can go too far. Internal bleeding, hemorrhagic stroke. A large meta-analysis published in the Annals of Internal Medicine involving over 135,000 patients found that high-dose vitamin E supplementation above 400 IU daily was associated with a statistically significant increase in all-cause mortality in older adults. not a small study, not fringe science. 135,000 patients. My recommendation, if you want the benefits of vitamin E, get it from food, almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach. If you're supplementing, stay under 200 IU daily and tell your doctor what else you're taking. The interaction risk is the real danger here, not vitamin E alone. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Calcium? Calcium is what my doctor told me to take. And that's exactly why I need to be precise here. Because I'm not saying calcium is bad. I'm saying the way most people over 60 are taking it is wrong. And the consequences have been showing up in cardiovascular research for the last decade. Here's the distinction. Calcium from food, dairy, leafy greens, fortified foods, is absorbed slowly, steadily through your digestive system, regulated by your body's natural mechanisms. Calcium from a supplement, especially a high-dose standalone supplement taken once a day, floods your bloodstream in a spike. Your body in your 60s is less equipped to handle that spike efficiently. When calcium floods your bloodstream and your kidneys can't process it fast enough, some of it ends up where you absolutely don't want it, in your arterial walls. This is called vascular calcification, and it is a direct contributor to arterial stiffening and cardiovascular risk. A landmark study in the British Medical Journal tracked over 24,000 adults for over a decade. The researchers found that people who got their calcium primarily from supplements had nearly double the risk of heart attack compared to those who got it from food alone. Double. From the supplement that was supposed to protect their bones. Now, if your doctor has specifically prescribed calcium supplementation for osteoporosis, I am not telling you to stop. What I am telling you is this. If you're taking a standalone 1,000 milligrams calcium supplement every single day, no one has reviewed that prescription in years, and you are also taking vitamin D3, magnesium, and a blood pressure medication, please have that conversation with your doctor this week. Ask whether the dose is still appropriate. Ask whether you're getting enough from food to reduce the supplement load. Split doses are far safer than single large doses if you do need to supplement. And always take calcium with vitamin D3, never without it. This one is different from the first two. St. John's wort is not dangerous because of what it does on its own. It's dangerous because of what it does to every other medication in your body. St. John's wort is an herbal supplement sold over the counter at every pharmacy and health food store in the country, widely used for mild depression and mood support. And in healthy younger adults with no prescriptions, it's reasonably well studied. But after 60, when most people are managing at least one or two chronic conditions and taking at least one prescription medication, St. John's wort becomes what pharmacologists call a major drug interaction risk. Here's why. St. John's wort is a powerful inducer of an enzyme system in your liver called CYP3A4. That enzyme is responsible for metabolizing a huge percentage of prescription medications. We're talking blood thinners like warfarin, heart medications, thyroid medications, blood pressure drugs, statins, certain diabetes medications, and antidepressants. When St. John's wort activates that enzyme system, it essentially tells your liver to break down your medications faster than it should. The result? Your prescriptions stop working properly. Your blood thinner no longer keeps your blood at the right thickness. Your blood pressure medication no longer keeps your pressure where it needs to be. The FDA has issued specific safety warnings about St. John's wort interactions. The interactions are not rare edge cases. They are predictable, well-documented, and clinically significant. I have a patient, I'll call her Mrs. T, who was taking warfarin for atrial fibrillation, started St. John's wort for mood, and within 6 weeks her INR levels were completely destabilized. Her anticoagulation wasn't working. We came in for a routine check and we caught it. Not everyone does.
If you're taking any prescription medication, St. John's wort is off the table until you've had a specific drug interaction review with your doctor or pharmacist. This is non-negotiable.
My guidance: if you are taking fish oil therapeutically, keep it under 2 grams per day unless your doctor has specifically prescribed a higher dose. Store it in the refrigerator. And if you're taking it alongside aspirin, a statin, or any anticoagulant, have that conversation about your total blood thinning burden. The stack matters enormously. I want to end on this one because it's probably the most common. More Americans over 60 are taking melatonin every night than any other sleep supplement, and almost all of them are taking too much in a way that is working against them. Let me explain. Melatonin is a hormone, not just a supplement. It is produced naturally by your pineal gland, and it signals to your brain that it's time to sleep. As you age, natural melatonin production decreases, which is a real contributor to sleep difficulties after 60, so supplementing makes biological sense. The problem is not what melatonin does, it's what the industry standard dose does. Most melatonin supplements sold in the U.S. are 5 to 10 milligrams, some go to 20. The research on effective dosing in older adults consistently points to a range of 0.5 milligram to 1 milligram as not just adequate, but optimal. More is not better. More is in fact worse. High-dose melatonin creates a pharmacological surplus that disrupts your natural hormone signaling. Instead of a gentle signal telling your brain to sleep, you're flooding a system that is already sensitive with 10 to 20 times the dose required. The result in older adults? Next-day grogginess, increased fall risk during nighttime bathroom trips, and over time, a blunting of your natural melatonin response, meaning your body produces even less on its own. A 2022 study in JAMA found that the actual melatonin content in commercially sold supplements varied wildly from what was on the label. Some contained nearly 5 times the stated dose. If the label says 5 milligrams and the pill is actually 24 milligrams and you're 68 years old with reduced kidney clearance, you are not taking a gentle sleep aid. You are sedating yourself. My recommendation: if you take melatonin, switch to 0.5 to 1 milligram. Take it 30 minutes before bed, not 2 hours before, not right at bedtime. And if you've been on nightly melatonin for more than 6 months, talk to your doctor about whether CBTI, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, might address the root cause instead. Fish oil might be the supplement I have to spend the most time on, because the backlash I'm about to get in the comments is predictable. But fish oil is heart healthy. My cardiologist told me to take it. And yes, at moderate doses for specific patients, omega-3 supplementation has real cardiovascular benefits. I'm not disputing that. What I am telling you is that the dose most people are actually taking, 3 to 4 grams per day, sometimes more, often without any guidance, crosses into territory that is clinically problematic for older adults. At high doses, fish oil is a meaningful blood thinner. Combined with the aspirin that roughly half of all Americans over 60 take daily, combined with the statins many are on, combined with any of the anticoagulants prescribed for heart conditions, the cumulative effect on bleeding risk is not trivial. In 2023, a large randomized controlled trial called Strength found that high-dose omega-3 supplementation was actually associated with an increased risk of atrial fibrillation, the same heart arrhythmia that many people are taking to prevent. There's also a less discussed issue: oxidation.
Fish oil is chemically unstable. When improperly stored or when a bottle sits open for weeks, the oils oxidize. You're not getting a therapeutic supplement anymore, you're getting oxidized lipids, which have the opposite effect of what you intend.
Let me bring this together into something you can actually use. 5 supplements, 5 things to do about them. 1. High-dose vitamin E. If your bottle says 400 IU or more and you're also on aspirin, fish oil, or a blood thinner, bring that bottle to your next appointment. Ask specifically about bleeding risk. 2. Standalone high-dose calcium. Ask your doctor if you're getting enough from food, whether the dose is still appropriate, and whether splitting the dose makes sense. Never take it without vitamin D3. 3. St. John's wort. If you're on any prescription medication, stop and ask your pharmacist to run a full drug interaction check before restarting. 4. High-dose fish oil. Stay under 2 grams unless prescribed otherwise. Store it in the fridge. Know your full blood thinning stack. 5. Melatonin. Cut your dose to 0.5 to 1 milligram. This single change will likely work better than what you're doing now. I want to be honest with you about why I made this video, and it goes beyond my dad's phone call. 14 years into this work, one of the things I see most consistently is that the people who get hurt are not the ones who ignored their health. They're the ones who were trying. They were doing something. They bought the supplements. They read the labels. They thought they were covering their bases. And they got hurt anyway. Not because they were careless, but because nobody gave them the information I just gave you. The supplement industry is a nearly $60 billion industry in this country. There is no requirement to warn you that your body at 63 processes things differently than it did at 43. There is no label that says, check with your doctor if you're on blood thinners. That burden falls entirely on you and on the people who care about you enough to say something. You now have that information. Please use it. If this was useful, share it with someone who needs it. A parent, a partner, a friend. You might be giving them something genuinely important. I'm Dr. Kayla. I post every week on topics like this, the things I actually talk about with my patients that most people never hear outside a doctor's office. Subscribe, and I'll see you next week. One last thing. Everything in this video reflects current clinical research and my own professional experience. It is not a substitute for your personal medical care. Please talk to your own doctor before making any changes to your supplement routine. That's not a disclaimer. That's genuine advice from someone who wants you watching this channel for years to come.